Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM23 Lions, episode 141. And we got a lot to talk about before we begin what's going to be a very fast Tour de France. I need to be very fast talking about these things so we can get into it, because obviously we want things to continue moving along for the remainder of this series. Okay, first, Hanoch saved our bacon in September of last season. His level up bumped him into second on our rankings, bumped him from a 4.5 star guy to a 5 star guy, and his season has been ho hum. No victories, no major performances. Paris-Nice, he was our leader. It was a simulation through all of it. We did no racing. He finished 12th at Paris-Nice. His best stage was a 7th in the Giro. He was very much a support rider for that race, but his best finish of the entire race was 14th on the final mountain stage. Then at the Tour de Suisse, just recently, he never even finished in the top 25 once on a single stage. Not a top-notch performance. And with having just leveled up in September, I am shocked that he has leveled up again. Absolutely stunned by this. The scary thing, though, is his contract is about to expire. We're going to have to spend a lot of money to re-sign him just a month from now. The good news, he has no popularity. He has no career wins. He is not a known quantity out there. It's going to make him more affordable. But the bad news is he is going to be a lot more expensive. The other good news, he's now our best rider on paper. I think Arab's still the leader. They have the same mountain rating. He's got a weaker medium mountain rating. His hills has improved, but it's also weaker. What he does have is the best stamina on the team. And this number hasn't changed in a while. Looking back at prior seasons, he's been with us for a long time now. This is season number 6 for Johannes Hanoch on the team. And we're looking to keep him around long term. Even if I don't play another season, I still want to make sure that he's signed up. He hit that 81 stamina by the end of year 3. The recovery has been the same since the end of season 4. The medium mountain has been the same now going on 3 years. But the mountain rating has seen a drastic upturn in the last couple of seasons, and it's what we have been training him in. But that level up in September saw him go from a 74 to a 77 mountain rating. And, looking at all the other attributes, that was about it. He gained 1 point in hills. But it was the mountain rating that saw that significant jump, that saw him go from 4.5 stars to our second best rider at 5 stars. 9 months later, he has leveled up again. He's got to still have some levels left in him. He is not done yet leveling up. If he has managed to do this in 9 months without claiming victories or anything, there's no bonuses. His world ranking is 217th. He has added 2 points in mountain to now be a 79 overall, which means he's added 5 points in less than 1 year. His hills rating has gained a total of 3 points in that time. It's now 71. He is now, or appears to be, maxed out as a climber. His time trial can improve slightly, but it's not. He's a 66 time trialist. He is not a GC kind of guy, but he is maybe a stage winner kind of guy on the right kind of day. His hills and sprint are where he still has the most room. So we're going to focus on his punch training now. But wow, surprised is definitely the word for it for me. Our team for the Tour de France, of course, is not our GC-focused team, and I am not going to be spending a lot of time on this race. Maybe 2 episodes at most. What we're looking at for this is a lot of unsung heroes. New guys like Schultz, who's a 75 sprint and nothing else. Russo, a 74 sprint and nothing else. We do have a couple of sprinters here. Musa, decent puncher, right kind of stage, might be able to pull out a performance. Also, of course, the whole team, I prepared them, even though they're not our best riders, they are prepared for this. They are expected to do well. We are already getting into a couple guys in Fitness Peaks. All of them are carrying the objective. The three that have low motivation will not have low motivation within a day or two, as they'll go, oh, I'm at a Grand Tour. Hooray! I'm at the Grand Tour. Hooray! Their motivation will come up. So we'll be looking at +2s to +5s for the entirety of the team. It'll help their performance, right? We've prepared them. What are they actually capable of? Maccabee has that 80 sprint, but he has no acceleration, no flat rating, can't climb, no stamina. It's so one-dimensional that it still makes him rather useless. Even on paper, will he even crack any top 10s in this? But we have the kind of guys who can maybe lead him out. Kareem has that 80 flat rating, so we could definitely do well enough to get ourselves at the front of a peloton. Josh DeVilliers, our other puncher, is 78. Daniels is the other one who's like Maccabee. Give either of them a +5, maybe, just maybe. Neither one of them are there now. It's going to be towards the later stages before they're ready to go. And then Oliver Kloop, third punchy guy. So we got 3 punchy guys. We got 1 flat lead out guy, and the rest are a sprint team. So that's the 2 type of profiles that we're going to be going for. By the second day, that motivation is resolved for those 3 guys. And so everyone has a +2 at minimum. And we have our first sprint stage. Early profiles. Stage 3 is another opportunity. But again, I think the right race day condition bonuses, as in those 2 best sprint options, a +2 is not going to be enough for them. Dunkirk to Calais. Yeah, stage 4 is a possibility. Stage 5 is absolutely not our kind of stage, though. That's not a cobble-rated group. So we would be bypassing that one. But stage 6, that's my kind of profile that we could do something on. Stage 8, likewise. Stage 14, maybe. That's a little bit harder, but stage 13 and stage 15 are definite regular sprint stages. Another on 19. We've got a lot of sprint stages for this race. I can't believe how few mountain stages there are. There are 5 stages that finish atop a mountain, and there are 2 additional mountain stages, but wow. There's only 2 medium mountain stages. This is one of the flattest Tour de France's I have seen in a long time. Mentioned I had a few things to talk about, so there's 2 more on the list. We'll just play this in the background as I speed things along towards the end of the stage. Stage number 2 here. 2-rider break with 5-minute advantage should make this a very, very easy day setting up for the sprinters. Our sprinters today, Daniels, Maccabee, both have just +1s. Schultz gets a +5 and looks really strong and may be a contender, especially with much better acceleration. We might want to use him potentially as a guy today, and then Kareem as their lead out rider. The 4th sprinter, Russo, has a -2 today, so he is definitely relegated to domestic duties as the only negative race day condition. In fact, that's at minimum, that's a -4 draw for him, and we're at 120k to go. Okay, the 2 things. 1, coming up on the end of the cycle for this game, and I'm running short on time. Both to continue on, both on what's coming next, and both on what's left to do for this series. Because we've added points to African nations, we have developed African nations, and we've found some decent riders. We've got 5.5-star guys, but we have not found a Benyam Girmay. We have not found the guy. The guy already existed. We found guys that are definitely not at his caliber, at his level, but Samuels, we got him ranked pretty high, and we definitely got Sammy Arab ranked pretty high. So we have found some successes, but we have not found the next Benyam Girmay or something even bigger, better, stronger. And we've never even been able to afford to get Girmay onto our team, and he's had no interest to join us even now because he's available in this coming season. But there's only so much we can do, and it's going to take many, many, many more seasons, many more years before we have any chance of finding a Girmay or equivalent or better. or similar, whatever, This season's going to be it. The other piece of news is that I have already been promised an advanced copy, so I will get a look here at Pro Cycling Manager 24 on the channel ahead of time, and it'll be actually the first available content for PCM24, as I'm going to be on the Steam page with the first actual live action of PCM24. So that is all coming as we head over the bridge here into the windy area, and this is one of those areas where you could absolutely get dropped with a big acceleration. And as we go over the top of the bridge, we're going to want to get our sprint train set and keep things moving along. I would love to see a split here, and we are seeing a couple splits off the back here in the crosswinds. More bridge to cover, but climbing is done, and we're sitting here looking at now 14K and a peloton of 65, and we're not going to let those others get back in. They had to be in position already. They had to be prepared for this already. Musa is going to go first just because he's already used up the red bar compared to anybody else. And I know I had a couple of guys that are non-sprinters at the front, and then Russo, and then we'll get into Kareem. Now I've got to make my decision on the three of them. Is it Daniels? 81 sprint, but a 72 acceleration. We don't have to, it's all flat from here. He's got a good flat rating. His stamina at 74 is pretty decent. He's a real contender with that. 82 for Maccabee definitely has the top speed, but he lacks the acceleration and the stamina. His flat rating is not great either. 75 acceleration could really help, but it's only a 78 sprint. And even with a huge plus 10 to stamina, it's still only a 77. The top speed's not there. The acceleration's better. I think Schultz still has to be the lead out guy. So do we want an 82.69 with low stamina or an 81.72? 81.72 does sound a little bit better, so we'll ride for Daniels. It's a little more well balanced and definitely a bit ahead. 3 points ahead of Schultz, with Maccabee just 1 point further ahead, but then the acceleration is definitely a lot more balanced. So on to Musa, no red bar, but time to get that full push and on our way. 13K to go. Musa getting us out there, getting us up into a position. 12K to go. Let's go ahead and get on to De Villiers here. We got set up. We got behind Musa, and he can help break toe on anybody else. De Villiers can bring us out front. Let's get the next two gelled up, and we're inside 10 kilometers. Now, there's been lots of comments throughout this series about why I don't follow other sprinters. It should be obvious, but doesn't seem to be obvious to everyone. Winter, for that matter. 80.79 is all he has. But reality, right, the difficulty level, that's actually an 84. So he's an 84-83 sprinter, plus whatever his race day condition is. He probably isn't even in the top 8 to 10 sprinters at this race. We don't know who all's here. We'll find out soon enough. Our best is nowhere near that, right? You follow that. You might beat others. He might provide you a lead out. But then we're never going to be able to overtake him. He goes too early. Doesn't matter. When he goes and we follow, our acceleration, our sprint speed will never match his. He'll pull away from us, which means trying to keep his wheel will drain the red bar really fast. So we will never be able to follow him and then be able to overtake him. The only way for us to win a sprint is from the front of the field. And that's why I just don't follow the others. So here's others, providing their lead out, giving their push, getting their guys in a position, and we have 7.5K to go. We're coming out as soon as we get to the end of the bridge here. Coming out of this, 6.4K, and we'll be on to Kareem. It's a little earlier than I wanted to be on to Kareem, but of course he's got a much better flat rating, so he can keep it pushing. And 5.3, go ahead and get those last 3 gels. So we've got our 3 guys. They have their red bar, other than Schultz is a little bit feeling it right now, trying to keep up with Kareem. 2.7K, he's obviously not actually sprinting, especially without the red bar. 2.1, Schultz, off we go. Vanderhoek goes really early. Philipsen goes really early. And we're coming up on 1.2K. There's Schultz done. On to Schultz dropped Maccabee because Maccabee doesn't have acceleration. There's that piece, right? That's the thing about Schultz. Doesn't have the top speed, but he's got better acceleration. He opened up a couple bike links on Maccabee. We're coming up on 1K. These guys are almost bigger threats. These guys, I mean, they're just now coming up on 1K, and they started their sprint a long time ago, and they're going for it. I don't think they're going to hang on, but, Philipsen has 83, 81, so maybe, just maybe. Daniels is still perfectly set up, but Maccabee, if he was on Schultz's wheel right now and coming off his wheel, I'd be a little more confident in our chances. But Maccabee, see how slow his acceleration was? Philipsen getting overtaken as predicted, 700 meters. Daniels will definitely overtake his two teammates, but all we can do is get maybe 6th or 7th. Oh, Philipsen held on. Holy cow. Philipsen did hang on. He had 3 guys within millimeters of him. That's just that top speed. Daniels gets 7th. Honestly, that's going to be one of the best results we're going to be able to get in this race, certainly until we can get the fitness peak for those 2 key riders. There isn't much more that our team's capable of, which is why we haven't won sprints in such a long time. We just cannot come up with an African sprinter who is capable of doing it all. Now, with a whole team full of sprinters, on paper, this is what we look like. We can't even crack the top 20. We can't even crack the top 30. Maccabee, stage 3, gets 32nd place. 7th is really good compared to what our team is actually capable of. And that's the problem with his field. Dali wasn't even present in that sprint that we just ran. He's an 82-82. Dali had a bad day on stage 2. He was nowhere near the sprint. But that's okay. There's 20 other guys who can pick up the mantle and still beat us. 7th was good, and I don't know if that in these conditions they can do much better. At 91.2, this first phase, this first week, we're not going to be competitive. So let's go ahead and bypass the first week of sprints. We'll give it another shot in the later stages. And hopefully with the +5s, maybe, just maybe, they can be competitive and we'll have a shot at a stage. On to stage number 6. We've got a good draw today, though it is aided partially because a couple of riders have now triggered their fitness peaks. So there's more guys that are in that mood, that are ready to go, ready to race. If you follow the channel closely, you may have noticed that in the last about 3 weeks, I've added 4 new series for 4 new releases. But I've only retired a single series to make room for it. So I'm +3 on series right now, and it's very busy. Having a hard time keeping up with things. As I already discussed in a previous episode, life is happening. Thank you for the support comments, by the way. And as we get into the final 18 kilometers here, I will need to focus in on this here very soon. That's a big reason why I need to make some room in my schedule. That I am planning on just letting this be the last season, because at this point we're not finding that 6-star rider in the group, and these 5.5-star riders, we're not finding those right now either. There's been nothing better than 4.5 stars entering the database in the last couple of years. 13.9k. Let's get started. Sprints are really easy, especially on the hard or normal difficulty compared to the expert. But if you don't have a dominant rider, clearly, as we've seen, they're very hard. We've hardly won a sprint, and they've never been normal sprints. They've always been, there was some twists and turns, there was one little hill, and we take advantage and we gain separation. We push and catch the field off guard. Never a normal sprint. But the other easier to win categories, without a doubt, hills. These punchy stages, these are the ones where we tend to get results. In fact, we won a couple Tour de France stages in a similar type profile to this one. So at 13.7k, I feel we can be really aggressive. And here's the thing, too, about this race. We're not in a GC hunt. We can go all in. We're not hunting points. We're not hunting King of the Mountains points. None of that matters. It's the stage. Nothing more. We got 3 hills to get up and over. We've got some sprinters who really won't last terribly long, but we can really put this field under some pressure, potentially, and see the field split and get ourselves into a prime position. As we go over the top of the first one, we've got 2 more to go, and at this point we're still only down 1 rider. Keeping these guys further down the line will allow them to recover slightly, but at the moment I'm a little surprised by just how hurt we were able to make a couple of these guys. But there's that recovery piece. Oh, and I've forgotten to gel up for these. Take control a little bit longer. 5K onto Kareem. Let's take that descent on. Nobody's able to follow us like this. Last couple gels. We got 4 guys leading out. 3.4K. Kareem is going very fast here, but he's not punchy enough. We're down to 45 in the peloton. We've already split off a number of riders, and we are soft sprinting now with Kareem. 1.5K. Now Clote. Proper sprinting. Now Musa leading out. And De Villiers, and we have separation, and De Villiers continues on, but we are out of the energy. Here comes the others, but can we hang on? We got an early go on this one, and we are going to get the win. De Villiers got it today with a +5, who's a little bit stronger climber. In fact, we get a 1-2 as Musa hangs on to second, as Pogacar and Dali and Petrovic come flying in too late with a good strong lead out and an early advantage. We were able to hang on for a stage win at the Tour de France. Really happy with that one. That's a big, hard push. These are the ones where others, right, they got 1 lead out rider, or they are just going for it themselves. And so a good early push on those rolling hills ahead of time can, and sometimes will, set yourselves up. We didn't have enough red bar to finish that thing off, but we had opened an advantage. We got separation, and we had plenty to still have pace, just not the same pace you would have if you had the red bar. But we opened up enough of an advantage that we pretty easily took that one. I mean, Musa was not so easy there in second, but De Villiers was very easy in first place. One missed opportunity there, and something I will look at for coming stages. Now that we have a win under our belt, South Africa's already got the popularity. Musa, Tunisia, they could use a popularity boost if given the opportunity. I'll ride for Musa on another stage. His problem is he lacks the medium mountain, where De Villiers is a little more balanced, and that's why he was able to take it. But yeah, I'll look to see if I can get Musa a win. Not that it's going to matter going forward into future seasons if this is our final season, but I'd like to get those points for the nation, and not necessarily just for the team points, which we've now gotten here with a stage victory here at the Tour de France. So already a successful race a week in. Coming up on the end of stage number 8, this is our next opportunity. It's another punchy one. We will ride for Musa, but unfortunately today, unlike stage 6 where we had a decent draw, we did have a plus a little bit. I didn't count, but it's maybe a +4 compared to everybody else. But the expectations were definitely better than that first week because, like I said, multiple guys are on fitness peaks now. 2 more riders are 1 day, maybe 2, away from being back at that status, being back at or being at that fitness peak status. 2 guys. 1 more day of racing and they'll have it. Musa is one of those 2. So his expectation was a +2. He has a +1. Josh De Villiers is one of those guys on that fitness peak with that expectation of +5. He is the stronger. He is the favorite. But I'm going to give Musa a chance. We will both ride for De Villiers and Musa. Musa will be the last guy in the line. We'll give him a chance. But I assume at the finish line he just won't be there, and De Villiers is going to be the one we end up trying to ride for on this stage, as we are now down to 13.5 kilometers, and the breakaway is finally reeled in here with just 13K left. Let's get things going. There has been some challenges with this stage, as we certainly had some climbing. And the real trick to this stage was this climb right here, this Cat 3. The climb itself wasn't too bad, wasn't too hard. Peloton was keeping the breakaway riders, the 3 breakaway riders, giving them enough of a leash. They were not chasing them down at all yet. But the moment we hit the top, huge acceleration. And the fatigue of the climb, which was moderate tempo for all the sprinters, and none of our guys are mountain guys, they were all feeling it a bit. And then that sudden acceleration meant zero recovery. So then this other little Cat 4 climb really started to split the field up. We got some recovery on the descent, but not a lot. And we're looking now at the guys who've got nasty draws. I mean, -4 for Maccabee, -4 for Schultz. We have a -2 for Kareem today. And yeah, just a big mess, really. All right, so Maccabee's going to get us started here with 13K left, get us out front, start putting the field under pressure. He will not last long. And Schultz is actually still just getting into position, but he'll get in position early enough. It's okay. We don't have to change the order. And he is done as well. On to Russo, and it's 10K, so we don't need to be going full gas. We just need to get out front, and he's got that set up for us. This is one of those things where a lot of the field does not anticipate this sudden acceleration that we're putting on, and it makes it a lot more possible for us to do something. But at 8K, we're not too far from that climb now. We still have Daniels, we still have Kareem. And it's very technical through here, giving us a good advantage on position. Russo's job is done. And we're out front, and we're at the base of the climb, 5.4K. Let's get Clote ready. Daniels will not last long, and then we'll get on to Kareem. And with this early tempo, it's going to catch out a lot of punchers who are not in position and on their own. It's not the greatest tempo, right? We're only seeing so much damage. Kareem a little stronger as a puncher, so a 97 for him. And we're at 3.8K, gel up for the last 2 guys. And we're on to Clote, 3.4K. We're coming over a flat section here in just a moment. I told him to go, he didn't go. I missed the misclick there. Wright has come out a little early, but we've got him covered off. 2.2K. Clote, here we go, on to the final climb. On to De Villiers, who's going to lead out Musa. And again, this is our early go for it situation. De Villiers, follow Musa. Come on, Musa. Come on, Musa. We're giving you a shot at it here. Here comes Clote behind. And Musa will get there. Musa is going to get there. He's going to win the stage. Tanisha is going to win a stage of the Tour de France. De Villiers takes second. Clote, can we make it a 1-2-3? Yes, we can, ahead of Magnus Sheffield. Oh, we really caught them out with that early push this time. Even more so than stage number 6. Back-to-back punchy stage victories here at the Tour de France has made this an incredibly successful race. And now, De Villiers could have been much further up the road as he was looking so much stronger. But getting that win for a minor nation is very high percentage odds. We've done it before and did not get the bonus. Big test now is, do we have a bonus for the nation? Funny thing, if you didn't notice, was De Villiers was actually wearing the Young Riders jersey. It's still early in the race. It's only stage 8 and the mountain stages haven't come yet. But that puts De Villiers in 6th overall. Palace leading currently ahead of Almeida and Pogacar. Points is Dali ahead of Philipsen. Mountain is Almeida. It's just 10 points there. Young Riders is De Villiers by a minute plus. Clote is 4th at a minute 39. Musa and Daniels are in there. And as a team, even with quick simming things, we are in the top 10 inside 3 minutes compared to everybody else. Considering we are not a climbing team, that's surprising as we have gone through the early stages of this one. No bonus. Again, we claim the win and do not get the bonus. Winning a stage at the Tour de France gets you a chance. And under the hood, the roll of the dice part, there is no known. There's nothing out there that lets you know exactly what the percentage is, what the odds are. But there is odds, that dice roll, the popularity boost would be to a 7. Tunisia is a 3-3 nation. It's a 3-3 nation. Our scout is Tunisian. Musa, who just won that stage, is Tunisian. And this is not the first time that we have won a big stage and not gotten that boost. There's been many times in this series where we've not gotten the boost. Tunisia should have a 7 for popularity right now, which would drastically change things, especially with a training structure of 3, right? Eritrea is a 7-5. Burkina Faso is a 5-1. Morocco, which we got a boost this last year, is a 5-4. South Africa is a 7-6. Rwanda is a 7-3. That would really, really change things for a nation such as Tunisia, where we've found a couple decent riders, even with just a 3-3. A 7-3 would have so many more riders coming through to pick from. But back-to-back stage victories will result in a lot of points. Tour de France acquires a lot of points. And having a decent GC finish at a race like the Tour de France only acquires so much points. Those victories, those stage victories, obviously the overall victory is a ton of points. But those stage victories actually add up to a lot compared to what that overall looks like. Here is that scale. 1,300 points for the GC. By the time you drop to even just 6th place, down to 520. By 8th, it's 360. By 10th, you're down to just 230 points. The KOM's 200. Points classification is 200. But winning a stage is 200. So you barely get 200 for finishing 10th overall. Barely more than this. So we're getting good, healthy boosts for this. Obviously, that first place overall, that podium is big time points. That top 5 is big time points. But it just drops off so drastically that fighting stage after stage after stage just to squeeze out a top 10 isn't worth a lot. Stage hunting, succeeding at it multiple times, is worth more. And we've done that. So this is turning into a pretty good race for us, because at the moment we're only 7th in the points this season, because that even removing the difficulty bonus, which the quick sim does, it does not account for what difficulty level you're on. It's just straight on paper, how do the riders compare to each other, and it calculates from there. So even without that penalty that we get racing the 3D races, on paper our riders just aren't good. Period. They aren't as good as everybody else, and we are 7th. All right, folks. Well, we are definitely seeing some progress here, and back-to-back stage victories was fantastic. The dice roll has gone against us. We went all in for Tunisia and came out the short end. But suddenly, Musa is going to be climbing the rankings here pretty quick. The points for the Tour de France are going to help him out immensely. He's going to move up a lot. He's at this point looking like he's going to potentially double his points. And there's Josh de Villiers isn't even on the first page. He's on the second page of riders. It's going to really help him out too. They are both going to double or more than double their points through this race, and simply because we did well at a couple punchy stages. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.